2021. We have all councillors present. We also have our engineer from Technical Services, Aaron McDonald, and Linda Stevenson from Technical Services. We have our CAO, Rob Philpott, and we have people watching on YouTube. Welcome to our council meeting, and we have members of the public, and we have our former minister, Chris Palmer, with us in the audience. I believe he'll be speaking a little later. So we'll have the motion to approve the agenda. Somebody said moved over here by Councillor Adams, I think it was, and Councillor Duran seconded. All in favour? Aye. Contrary nay? Carried. Turn it over at this point to Councillor McFeely.
Thank you, Your Worship. And we are dealing with a zoning amendment application for 30 Greenwood Drive. So the background, an application was received from Amalgamated Holdings Limited, PID number 553875. The purpose of the zoning amendment is to allow retail stores and office space in the proposed service commercial C2 zone as follows. Proposed zoning bylaw amendment. Change the zoning from industrial M1 zone to service commercial C2 zone, and the map of the subject property is included there, Your Worship.
Just a question on that. I'm wondering if the people watching on TV can pick that up on our screen, or is it too small?
Probably not.
Okay.
The meeting package is online though, so if they're able to watch.
They're able to pick that up in the meeting package online. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Perfect. The application was advertised in the May 1st edition of the Guardian, and letters were mailed to property owners within 60 meters or 200 feet of the subject properties. So the light industrial M1 zone, the current zoning, and our zoning bylaw item 25.1, the purpose of this zone is to accommodate light industrial and other compatible non-noxious industrial uses, together with some supporting and complementary commercial uses. The permitted uses in an M1 zone, I'm not going to read them all, Your Worship. They're in the package and they're in the zoning bylaw if anybody wants to check them out. And as Brian said, the package is online, and councillors all have that. So the permanent uses include some industrial uses and commercial uses of other uses. Discretionary uses subject to council approval. In the M1 zone, discretionary uses, again, there's industrial and commercial discretionary uses there. The service commercial C2 zone, the proposed zoning, the purpose of this zone is to provide for large and medium-sized commercial uses which need road frontage for ready vehicular access and advertising exposure. Again, the permitted uses included in the bylaw are listed there. It's lengthy. There are commercial uses, residential uses, industrial uses. And as well, there's some discretionary uses that are subject to council's approval in the C2 zone. So we won't go into those in detail, but they are in the package again, and they are available online for people that want to see them. So now is the time in the meeting where we would ask for comments from the applicant. So we would turn it over to, I think Mr. Palmer is going to speak on behalf of the applicant.
I think the microphone is on, but you can just test it there with a tap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that good? Am I close enough to that?
It's
We
fine.
would ask you just to state your name and address for the record.
Sure.
Please.
My name is Chris Palmer, and my address is 82 Balcombe Drive here in Summerside. So I'm here in a dual role tonight. I am the agent for Amalgamated Holdings Limited, who are the applicant for this piece of property. I am also here as the developer. I am in the process of purchasing this building, and this rezoning piece is part of that. So as you know, as Councillor McFeely had indicated, this is currently light industrial zoning, and we want to change that, which I think in common terms is a downgrade in zoning, to a commercial, I just forget what the service commercial, C2. So the building is currently It's in the package there, and I don't know if you can see it online or not, but I guess it's in the package. The building's currently zoned light industrial, and it's currently underutilized. It's empty right now. So I think there's a great opportunity here in Summerside for this. So the zoning change will allow, through that C2 service commercial, a number of businesses. So I've listed a couple here in the package, but they're in the bylaw. Bakery, food store, retail store, business office, shopping center, a number of uses. Linda, you can move ahead to the next slide. And you can skip ahead to the next one again. So the intent here, and I have a design sketch that I had somebody create for us, is to change the building's use to turn into retail and business offices. So the simplest version is to take the bays at the north end, I think there's 6 there, turn that into 4 retail units. And at the bottom end, on the south end, there's 2 there to have 2 retail units in there. The middle of the building, which is currently offices, will be revamped and new offices will be built in there. So the end goal here is to have 7 retail units and up to 14 or maybe a few more, depending on when we get architects moving walls around, to have micro offices in there. So inside will be a number of offices you could rent with shared reception and shared boardroom. So we think this is a wonderful spot, and the development that is going to happen in that part of the city, I think is really, it's going to explode in the next little while. So we really want to take part in that with the proposed hotel at the Credit Union Place, the new multi-units that are going on Hippenstalls Corner, all of those, and you can see the investments that are being made there. And we want to be part of that as well with private sector investment to come in and repurpose that building. And I forgot to mention the Eco Park up the road as well, which is going to be a great addition to the city. So Linda, you can skip to the next one. So this is a view from the south. So you can see there's 2 bays down at this end. So these are just proposed at this stage as part of the process to find an architect to get them engaged in this. We were able to secure one yesterday, in fact. So we're starting to get additional drawings and those kind of things, but this is really what the vision is, to turn it into that, to the retail and a business center. And then you can skip to the next one, which is just another view from the north. So there's some nameplates across each one of those retail units. They're just placeholders. They don't mean anything. We don't have any tenants secured in there yet, although I have had a number of people call and ask about rental units in there. I don't know how they know, but it's Summerside and they know, which I think is terrific. So that's the view from the north side. And then we have an overall site plan as well, which shows some parking, kind of directional flow around the building, which will be kind of where we'll be in the finished state. And that finished state is, if everything goes well with rezoning, and I want hammers swinging in there July 5th, and I want to have this thing all sewed up by the end of December. So we're not taking this building to hold it and sit on it. We're in a rush. There's a lot of really good things going on in Summerside, and I think this can be part of it. Linda, you can skip to the next one. So this is my architectural handiwork, which is why we have to hire somebody to do this right. So that's kind of my guess of placement of how it's going to be laid out. So that's the starting point. We have architects that will kind of do that the right way and give us more of a vision of it. But that gets us an understanding so that we can go through this process tonight, and the business planning that we're doing kind of in conjunction to this. So Linda, you can skip to the next one. So this is where the real numbers come in. So the building is 20,000 square feet. We're hoping to have 7 or maybe it's 8 retail, but I'm staying with 7 for now. 14 offices, and then another 3,600 square feet on the on the south side in the bays. So the ceiling height in those 2 bays to the south end are 20 feet. So we can put another floor in there to accommodate more offices than on the 2nd floor. So here's the part that I know the mayor is interested in and has asked me this question a couple times. Annual municipal tax for this building will be $18,000 a year. And I was talking to the CAO to get those numbers. From the retail perspective, we're expecting there'll be 28 jobs in there. And from the office, there'll be 28 plus. So we're in the 56 to 60 jobs in that building upon completion. The last piece on there, which is the little chart you can see it probably better in your package, that I received from the Economic Development Office. The short version says Summerside is full. The occupancy or the vacancy rate was 9% in retail and 14% in office space just a couple of years ago. Now we're at 3 and 4%. Summerside is full. The Economic Development Office is fielding calls every day from people, and they don't have any solutions for them. So this and probably 5 or 10 more of these are greatly needed in Summerside, which is terrific. It's the best news. I've never seen business growth like this in my entire life. So things are going the way we want them to go here, and we need to have private sector investment to help catch the ball when it's being thrown to us. And that's what we're here to do. So that's the big picture. Linda, you can skip to the next one. So that's the big picture of what the plans are, and this is one of the steps in that, is to get it rezoned so that we follow the bylaws and we can have those businesses in that building. So with that, I will try to answer any questions that you have.
Well, let me just open things up a bit here, Chris, and just say thank you for the presentation, and thanks for coming prepared with some good drawings and things. Often we get rezonings coming in here and they don't have the background that you certainly have provided and the information you provided, so we very much appreciate that, and thank you for the confidence to move forward and help build Summerside. So I think that's great. I don't have any specific questions per se, but just a couple of comments and thanks. So, Councillor Snow.
Yeah, I sort of am along the same lines as Councillor McFeely. The fact that you came in prepared and were able to share the information and give us a vision. The one thing that I really like hearing, Chris, is the fact that you plan on having hammer swinging. I struggle with the sitting on properties and not seeing things move along. I really struggle with that. That's one of my pet peeves for sure. So I'm encouraged to hear that you're looking to get things moving quickly, and you're right, Summerside is booming, and I think this is only the start. I think it's going to continue, so I look forward to getting some more information and going through the process. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor McDougall, then Councillor Ramsey.
Thanks, and thanks, Chris, for the presentation. Great presentation, always prepared. I think I was talking to you before, and I had been looking at that location, driving by it, wondering what would ever happen to that, and I think this is an excellent fit for the area, and we too are very excited about the growth in Summerside, and we just thank you for the confidence and for believing in Summerside. So all the best, and can hardly wait to July. Take care.
Thank you.
Councillor Ramsey.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for that presentation. That was awesome. And you've got quite a vision, and I personally like that. You have 14 micro offices going in, you think, they're micro, and what do you think you can put up above those, that north section? How many do you think you'd get up there?
On the south section, it's 3,600 square feet, so the intent is to leave it so we could potentially have one larger tenant coming in there.
Okay,
And if that's not materializing coming into October and November, then we'll start putting up extra walls and have more micro offices in there.
okay, so
Because we
you're,
know we could fill that entire building 5 times of the micro offices.
okay, so you're talking the south. I thought it was the other end, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, no, it looks awesome, and we welcome that down in the west end of Summerside. Thank you.
Councillor Campbell.
Where did you get the color?
I didn't even pick it, surprisingly enough.
I think Deputy Mayor, and then Councillor Snow again.
Chris, thank you for the presentation. You did a great job, and I think not only are you a doer, but you're a finisher. And certainly the plan that you have presented to us tonight is very exciting. So thank you for choosing Summerside, and hopefully we'll see what happens. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councillor Snow.
Just curious, because when you flipped up top and showed the parking out behind, I know there's lots of room there, but just thinking of the ice pond, and we know how there was a lot of work done there, so I think sort of adds to it possibly, and there's no concern with it affecting one another spacing-wise. Aaron, Linda, there's nothing, I mean, I know these are just sort of guesstimates, but
Once Chris has a site plan, then we'll be able to go over all the parking requirements and what would be required from the buffers from the ice pond area.
okay, thank you, thanks.
Any other,
Just put it on. Thanks, Councillor. Just to echo everyone else, just thank you and congratulations on a good find. And my only suggestion, I guess, would be to put some bike racks in there, because you're right in the active transportation lane, and it looks really cool, and can't wait to see it come to fruition. I have no doubt that it will.
Great.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Your worship?
Thank you, and thanks
Councillor
again,
Adams.
Chris, for the presentation, excellent presentation. And you did mention the commercial tax base, and I know this council is certainly working hard to try to get a more commercial business within the city. So we thank you for that. And Justin, Councillor Drawn had mentioned bicycle racks, and I'm just wondering there'll probably be a few electric plugs there for cars.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and I believe Linda had mentioned the plan, but it would appear that there's going to be all kinds of parking around the building someplace.
Mhm.
So it certainly looks like a great presentation, and you mentioned, I believe as well, you want to get in there in about or early July.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's great.
Councillor
Construction
Hess?
jobs are great for the economy too.
Yes. Yeah.
Just really quick, thank you, Chris, for the presentation. So the back part of the building, and I didn't really pay much attention to it before, but it does sort of come out and there's cargo. Is there like a cargo loading docks or something back there?
There are 3 loading bays there, which is the part that attracted my attention driving by. I didn't realize the building was empty. I drove by it lots of times. But those 3 loading docks, and I don't know why I've never seen those before, and that drew me in because I know in my time in government, we had challenges all the time that businesses wanted to move to Summerside and couldn't because there were no loading docks.
Yep.
And they were moving from Summerside to Charlottetown, which I didn't like very much, and I still don't like it very much. So those 3 loading bays are there. We'll utilize those as much as we can. I think that would work very well with the retail strip that's in there.
Yep.
But there's also a large building in the back. I think it's 80 by 30, which will probably be some type of storage, but I want to utilize those. I want to utilize those loading bays as well as part of that.
And so the back part is going to be overlooking the pond, the ice pond?
Yes.
So will you be like utilizing that view part? Because I know I'm in Holman Building every day, and to me, it was built backwards because we're facing Water Street and we're not looking out at the beautiful view. So that was one thing I thought, oh, that'd be awesome to have some windows and.
On that south end where we put the second floor in, we would be able to, I think, get a view out towards the
Nice.
back. So we will, in one of those pictures, it has a number of windows across the top. So we will try to utilize that as much as we can.
Awesome, looks great, thanks.
Okay, oh,
Just
Your
one
Worship,
fin-
yes?
Just one final question. That green area on this plan here, that's part of the property too, eh? So there'd be additional parking if you need be or whatever?
The green in the corner is a separate property. There's a
bottom,
house on that
Yeah.
now, but the green in the back, which is towards the pond, would remain as green space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think so. It depends if we run into parking issues, but I think from the initial drawings that we had, it looks like we have lots of parking for the
Yes.
building, but until we get that finalized site plan, we don't know for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments from Chris or staff? If not, thank you very, very much, Chris, for
All right, thank you.
presentation. We do have a member of the public here now, so welcome. And you're timely because this is the point in time where we invite members of the public to make comments and. I'm the guy that owns that green space. Oh, okay. Okay. Do you wish to say a few words or? Okay. Okay.
So does that have to remain as green space?
We would ask you to come to the mic and state your name and address, and we should wipe the mic, I guess, and protocol, COVID protocol here.
I think there's some there.
The pack, yeah, the application is all online too, if you wanted to check that. Chris's information is probably, I'm not sure that's online though.
I guess I'm a little late too. I gotta wear this.
Yeah, you can take that off and just, if you would state your name and address, and then we would welcome your comments.
Thomas Bigger, my home address or that address, 2 Greenwood Drive, I guess, I think it is. Yeah, I have no immediate plans for that property. I'm just here to find out what actually was, and I missed, sorry. I was just getting back from Charlottetown. I missed the main thing of what's going on. So it looks like I'm gonna be surrounded by parking lots. Is that what's happening here? Is that this corner?
Yeah, well, I think there's parking lots all around there now.
You wanna make it bigger?
No.
No, you wanna keep it green space? Like I'm just, so what is that? I know I'm zoned light industrial, I do believe, so, like, what's that gonna leave me able to do with that property, I guess is what I'm asking. How's it gonna affect, me?
I would ask maybe staff to comment on that, but it would remain whatever it's zoned now.
It's a zoned M1, so anything that's allowed in the M1 zone could happen there. The current use of the house is considered non-conforming at this point, but it can continue to be there as long as it exists.
Cool, what if I wanted to do something on that corner? You know what I mean, is this gonna impede, my process of me maybe rezoning that to commercial or R3 or something?
You can apply for rezoning at any time that you see fit. Yep.
So I don't see the point in leaving it industrial, I guess, right? That doesn't leave much really to do with it.
I think.
What's M1?
So, Tommy, I think I'll just explain to you, that's exactly what Chris Palmer just did. So it was zoned the same as yours.
Yeah.
And he came in to have it rezoned for commercial.
Yeah.
So, so I think you would have that very same option with your properties to come in and do the very same thing.
So I guess this doesn't really hurt its chances of being rezoned.
Oh, gosh.
Well, that's all.
Probably probably make it easier.
I just don't want to be stuck with a P. When I heard green space and somebody said remain a green space, I'm just like, well, there's no money in a green space. I don't think. Unless you want to purchase that and keep it a green space, which we can talk then, right? Then you guys can rezone it. But no, I was just kind of curious as to what's going on. Never been to a town meeting before.
Yeah,
So this is my first
welcome.
one. Awesome. So yeah,
So,
no, I'm just kind of curious. So yeah, this really, as far as this impacts my property in a pretty positive way, I feel. So, yeah.
Okay, so you see it as a positive development, Tommy?
Yeah,
and you-
absolutely. I don't even know what it is yet. What's going in the middle of all those parking lots? Is it?
Maybe if Aaron could put those.
There's other diagrams there that'll give you an idea what it'll look like.
Yeah, cool.
Would you guys go back to the, show the picture that, Ryan is back to sort of the idea of what.
There.
Is there any residential in that, or is it all retail up and down?
So,
Yeah.
retail offices.
Good call. Right on.
Okay.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you very, very much, and thanks for your comments. We appreciate that. Thanks for coming. Okay, I'll move on then with the, and I should read into the record here, we do have one written comment here that I should read into the record. And it's really from a phone call from Robert Arsenault, Secretary of Highland Enterprises Limited, hereinafter referred to as Highland, to the development, to Linda Stevenson, our development officer. Mr. Arsenault indicated that he would like his general comments regarding 565 Water Street rezoning in 2022 be applied to this application. The wording below meets the intent of his phone conversation with the development officer. Highland, as a nearby property owner, PID number 68999 and PID number 69005, takes a neutral position on the rezoning application to rezone for the rezoning of 30 Greenwood Drive, PID number 553875, from light industrial M1 to service commercial C2. Highland carries on business as a provincially licensed beverage container recycling depot, as well as a scrap metal recycling facility. As a matter of common knowledge, scrap metal recycling facilities are not industrial sites, are often referred to as junkyards. Junkyards do not receive awards for serene or tranquil environments, neither do they receive awards for their aesthetic beauty. Scrap metal facilities employ industrial balers to crush and pack tons of metal for delivery to market. Recycling yards are noisy, dirty, and can be dangerous places to work. Mr. Arsenault wants to state that regardless of the zoning applicable to the subject parcel, Highland will continue to operate as a scrap metal recycling facility well into the future. We trust that any decision to develop a service commercial property in the close proximity to an operational scrap metal recycling facility will have been considered by the developer. Highland urges that city planners inform the developer of the prominence of Highland as a functioning industrial operation and the negative impact that such a facility may have on the proposed development. So we read that into the record for.
I need to say that Mr. Arsenault always sends a note in when there's redevelopment going on, or just to let people know that his business is there. It's been there for years and it's not going anywhere. He's always very supportive of any new development, but he always likes to let the new folks coming in exactly what's happening there. I have a lot of respect for that. Yeah.
Thank you, and I believe the developer has had conversations with Mr. Arsenault as well. So the explanation of the process. In order to process a zoning bylaw amendment, the following steps are required. 1, the zoning bylaw amendment is read the first time and declared is read at the first council meeting. 2, the zoning bylaw amendment is referred to planning board for review and recommendations. So step 1 and 2 take place at the same meeting of council, and that's what's taking place this evening. Step 3, planning board reviews the application and prepares a recommendation to council. Step 3 takes place at a planning board meeting, which is scheduled for June 1st at 5 p.m. Step 4, the zoning bylaw amendment is read a second time and declared is read a second time at a second council meeting. Step 5, the zoning bylaw amendment is read and adopted by council. The resolution will either be carried or defeated by a vote of council If the zoning bylaw amendment is adopted by council, it is sent to the Minister of Community Lands and Environment for signature, and the amendment becomes official. So those last two steps, steps 4 and 5, take place at council's second meeting, and that would be scheduled for our regular regular council meeting of June 17th at 6:30 p.m. Please note that in accordance with section 5.20 of the zoning bylaw, any person who is dissatisfied by a decision of council in respect to the administration of this bylaw may appeal council's decision within 21 days to the Island Regulatory and Appeals Commission. So I do have two resolutions, Your Worship.
Go ahead, sir.
And I'll ask for a seconder for each of these when I read them. So the first one is Resolution COS 21-094. It's moved by myself, Councillor McFeely, seconded by Councillor Corey Snow. Whereas an application was received from Amalgamated Holding Limited for a zoning amendment for PID number 553875 from light industrial M1 zone to service commercial C2 zone under City of Summerside zoning bylaw. Be it resolved that zoning amendment 0135 be hereby declared as read a first time, and I'll read Schedule B into the record, Your Worship. Zoning Amendment 0135, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. The Council of the City of Summerside, under authority vested in it by Section 18 and Section 19 of the Planning Act, RSPI 1988 Cap P-8, hereby enact as follows. The zoning for PID number 553875 shown on Schedule B of the City of Summerside zoning bylaw is designated as Service Commercial C2 zone, hereby excluding it from its former designation of Light Industrial M1 zone, and the map of the subject property is attached, Your Worship.
So moved by Councillor McFeely and seconded by Councillor Snow. Any questions on the resolution? All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried unanimously.
And the second resolution, Your Worship, COS 21-095, moved by myself, Councillor McFeely, seconded by Councillor Durand. Whereas an application was received from Amalgamated Holdings Limited for a zoning amendment for PID number 553 Summerside zoning bylaw. And whereas zoning bylaw amendment 0135, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw was read and declared as read the first time at this council meeting. Be resolved that zoning bylaw amendment 0135, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, be hereby referred back to Planning Board for review and recommendation.
Moved by Councillor McFeely and seconded by Councillor Durand. Any questions on the resolution? All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Motion carried unanimously. Okay, it would appear we're at the end of the agenda, so we'll need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor McDougall. All in favour? Thank you very much. The meeting adjourned, and Brian is going to get us unhooked